I lay there, heart racing, listening as each sound wove together into a tapestry of uncertainty and raw fear. It was not the kind of fear born from an overactive imagination, but a deep, disconcerting realization that something was intruding upon the sanctity of my safe space. Every minute detail, the way the shadows seemed to shift without cause, the soft tapping that echoed like footsteps, reminded me that I was not as alone as I thought. In that moment, I became the unwilling witness to an encounter that would haunt me long after the sounds faded into the darkness. This is my story, a first-hand account of a night when reality blurred with an experience so unnerving that it left me questioning everything I once believed about safety and solitude. I sat in my living room, the silence of the night interrupted only by the low hum of the refrigerator and my own racing thoughts. As I tried to convince myself it was nothing more than an overactive mind, the familiar comfort of my home felt subtly altered. Every shadow cast by the streetlight outside seemed to shift in ways that I could not explain. I remember the moment I first noticed that something was off. A quiet scratching at the window and a gentle knock on the door that did not belong to any visitor I expected. My pulse quickened and a chill crept up my spine as I realized that this was no ordinary night. Not long after that unnerving moment, I found myself stepping into the darkened hallway. I distinctly remember the sensation of each step echoing off the walls as if someone else was walking alongside me. The atmosphere grew thicker with uncertainty as a shape emerged from the obscurity, a figure moving slowly, deliberately, almost as if testing my every nerve. In that instant, I felt an overwhelming mix of dread and disbelief, as if my entire reality had shifted. I could no longer rely on the familiar. I was caught in an experience that defied logic, where every sound and movement felt like a signal of something beyond my control. Even after the figure vanished, the impact of that encounter lingered with me. In the days that followed, every creak in my home felt amplified, every unexpected sound a reminder of that unsettling presence. I found small traces, an unexplainable mark on a doorframe, or a faint echo in the otherwise silent corridors, that made me question whether I had truly escaped that night. I began to document these details, piecing together the fragments of a memory that refused to fade, as if the experience had etched itself into the very fabric of my reality. It was not a dramatic confrontation, but rather a series of quiet, disconcerting moments that, together, reshaped my understanding of what it means to be alone. As the night drew to a close, I was left with a persistent question that no amount of logic could dispel. Was I truly alone, or had my home become a stage for an encounter that defied explanation? Even now, when I sit in the quiet hours of the early morning, I can still hear the faintest echoes of that night. The memory serves as a constant reminder that sometimes our surroundings hide more than just shadows. They hide mysteries that we may never fully understand. In sharing this story, I invite you to reflect on those moments when you, too, might have sensed that you were not entirely alone. If you find yourself haunted by similar experiences or have a story that challenges the notion of solitude, I invite you to share your thoughts and memories. Your insight might be the key to understanding these encounters that quietly reshape our nights. And if you're willing to keep exploring the unknown with me, consider subscribing, because sometimes the truth hides in the shadows, waiting for us to uncover it together.